Hey, my name's John. I am the owner here at Shoreline Music, coming to you as always from Appleton, Maine. Thank you so much for taking a minute out of your day and checking out my demo videos. I really do appreciate it. Now, the instrument I have for you today is nothing short of extraordinary. You have seen an instrument that looks almost identical to this in a prior demo video. This is the Neotone digital handpan. And of course, the Neotone digital handpan is a fully sampled electronic instrument. It has 1,300 samples in the instrument. It's designed to sound as close as possible to an acoustic handpan, and in fact it does. Now with that said, this model is different than the one I did in my last demo. And I'm going to talk briefly about this today, but if you want to do a really deep dive into the Neotone, I strongly suggest going back and watching my original demo from last fall. I'll include a link in the description when I'm done with this. I'll talk a little bit about this today, but I also want to spend some time talking about the things that you can plug into your Neotone to enhance your enjoyment of them. So I'll get to those in just a bit. So the Neotone 1 is sort of the original production model of the Neotone. And in nearly every way, it's identical to the Mutant model, which costs more, right? So this is 20% less, but you get fewer notes. That's really the big selling point of the Mutant, is you get all those extra little note fields in here. But there are players, and I talk to them all the time, who really don't need all the extra notes or don't feel ready to take on the challenge of, those kinds of scales. And so this is a great option, especially if you're just starting out. This might even be your first handpan before you get an acoustic handpan. And there's still so much music in here. There's all the preloaded scales and everything else. Like, I really, really think the one is a good option for a lot of players, which is why I'm going to continue to keep them in stock. I have several on order right now. I think I have an ash and a cherry. You'll notice that this one's mahogany, but it turns out that it's available in all the same woods as the Mutant models. So that's ash, mahogany, walnut, cherry, and oak. Now, I think that's probably all I'm going to say about this. Once again, if you want to get a deeper dive, go check out my original demo for the Neotone. I want to talk about now two things that you're going to plug into your Neotone that will enhance your enjoyment. The first of those is headphones. Now remember, this doesn't come with a speaker. The only way to hear what's on here, or what's coming out of here, is through headphones or through a sound system. But for most players, it's going to be headphones. And I want to talk to you about these headphones here. Now, I've sold somewhere between 40 and 50,000 pairs of headphones over the years. And pretty much any headphone you can think of has probably come through my shop at one time or another. AKG, Shure, Sennheiser, Grado Labs. I'm sure there's a bunch I'm forgetting at this point. But the one I keep coming back to after all these years are these guys right here, Beyerdynamic. This is the 900 Pro X, but I have a full selection on the website. The thing about Beyerdynamic is it checks all the boxes. It sounds fantastic. Really, really flat, neutral, full fat sound. It's really ruggedly built, which is not true of all sort of nicer headphones. And it's really comfortable to wear. Like I've sat with a Neotone for hours on end and just forgotten that the headphones are even on my head. So it really checks all the boxes. It is really the only headphone that after all these years and all these tens of thousands of headphones, it's the one I'm still recommending, like without reservation. And I'm not the only one, because the guys at Neotone also recommend this headphone. So if you're going to get one, just make sure you get one with a lower impedance, like the Pro X models, so you can plug into the Neotone. You don't have to use an amp or anything else. Okay, that's it for the headphones. Okay, now comes the fun part. So sometime recently, I was watching just some Neotone demos, I think probably on the Neotone website, and I saw a player plugging into an effect pedal that was a guitar effect pedal called the Strymon Big Sky. Now this is a pedal that gives you these kind of lush reverbs that you don't have to do a ton of work. You don't have to be really technical to get an amazing sound out of. I really like those. I mean, I can do menu dives and set all the parameters and everything, but I like being able to just to turn a dial and get, all kinds of cool sounds. So I thought, I really should take one for a spin and see how the Neotone sounds through it in my headphones, in my studio. And I took delivery of this thing, I don't know, a week ago. And the very one complaint I received from my customers, and I received it from a bunch, about their Neotones is the time suck. Like, I'll get these emails that say, well, I had this weekend of projects planned, and all I did was play my Neotone. I couldn't put it down. It was that much fun. That was me with the Neotone and the Strymon Big Sky. I was doing hours. When you kind of look outside and say, wait, when did it get dark? Like I was spending so much time with this thing. Just every time you tweak just the tiniest little thing, you get this whole new sound and all kinds of cool stuff. So I'm a huge fan. And I think this makes the Neotone even more appealing because it really, without a lot of effort, expands all these cool tones you can get out of this instrument. Now, you heard me playing with just one of the default ones right there at the beginning. What I think I want to do here is I'm going to spend some time and just fiddle with a bunch of the settings, play a little bit, but I don't want this to be, a 45-minute or an hour-long video of me turning dials. So what I'm going to do is right after this, I'm going to cut, and I'll go through and play with a few things, and I'll take maybe the one or two best ones, one or two that I think are my favorites, and then I'll splice them together in post, and then I will come back and join you at the end. So, Neotone 1, great digital handpan, and a great, more affordable option if you don't think you're going to need all the extra notes. Beyerdynamic headphones, don't even bother looking at anything else. They really are the best ones to get. And the Strymon Big Sky. And Strymon actually has a full product line, but the Big Sky kind of takes a lot of those pedals and puts them all in the same unit. So you don't have to have a pedal board. You can just have this one guy right here. So, thanks so much for watching. I'm going to cut now to my experiments, and I'll see you on the other side. Okay, cool. Okay, I have this one plugged in here that's called, it's on the Shimmer setting, which I think it's probably my favorite of all of them on the Big Sky. I've just been trying a few others, and they're amazing, but something about the Shimmer, man, just this really lush reverb. And I came across this setting called Fifth Wheel. I couldn't find it anywhere in the manual or anything. It's just right there in one of the menus. And what it does is it takes the tonic that you play, and in the reverb, it adds a fifth above and a fifth below. So have a listen. Isn't that amazing? That is so fun. That is so cool. I had a buddy over for dinner last night, and I was letting his son try out, what this fifth wheel was. And he said, it sounds like you have an orchestra in your room just with this. And I can't disagree. Something about this feels very cinematic. I think what I want to try here is maybe add a bit more of a delay, a pause before it kicks in. So. Maybe shorten it just a bit too. Because one of the things with these really lush reverbs is they can start to sort of overwhelm when you start playing with a lot of notes on top of each other, Right? It becomes kind of this muddy mess. So, by putting that pause in there, I can actually maybe even make a rhythm out of it. So let's try that. Let's see what happens here. Let's see. And remember, hitting toward the edge of the tone field here makes it a little more slappy, a little more metallic. So you can take advantage of that instead of just getting. You can use this to make a rhythm like that. Let's add some more notes. So. Oh my gosh, that's like that. You know, that's like that. That Hans Zimmer. Just whoa. It's so good. It's so cinematic. Like oh man. Anyway, that's the Shimmer with fifth wheel. I did anyway. I love this one. Let me see if I can find another one. All right, stick around. Okay, so there's another one that's really cool that I like a lot. It's called Magneto, and it's functionally kind of like a digital delay. I don't know if any of you guys back in the day, back in the 70s and 80s when delays were first out, you heard like the Edge from YouTube. He used the delay a lot. Bad is just 500 milliseconds, quick decay. Like I used to play a lot with the digital delay, but this one has more life to it. It actually feels like it has a rhythmic pulse to it. So instead of just doing ba 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 ba, it goes ba 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 ba, which creates some rhythm in the delay. So let's see how this sounds. That's too fast. Oh, speaking of Hans Zimmer, right? That's kind of like that track Mombasa from the Inception soundtrack. Okay, yeah. Let's slow that down so it's a little bit more palatable. Right here. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna let this decay a little quicker, because again, if these sounds, if they start to sustain for too long, they pile up on top of each other and they get kind of a muddy sound. Let's go down just a bit here. Maybe a little bit less there. Okay, so. I like that, but you can hear that there, right? So it gets a little muddy when they start to pile up on top of each other. But I do like the rhythm that made. That here you go, da 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 da. So let's make a rhythm out of that rather than a wash of sound. So we'll do a. That's nice. That's better. Now we'll add something. That's okay. I want to put something. Let's put something underneath it. So let's do this up. That's good. That was good. How fun is that? Oh my gosh. That's a great little rhythm. By the way, if you want to book me for your next rave, just use the website. That's super fun. Okay, this is definitely going to be one of the ones I included in the video. I really liked this one. Isn't it like this? thing is so cool, so much fun. Like honestly, if you get, I don't even sell them. I mean, I would like to, but I don't currently even sell them. I'm just telling you, this is a really cool thing that plugs into the Neotone and makes the Neotone like even cooler than it already is, and it's already very, very cool. So, Neotone 1, Beyerdynamic headphones, Strymon, Big Sky. Thanks, thanks so much for watching. Have a good one. I can't wait to show you my next videos. I got some really cool acoustic hand pans in the mix, and who knows, maybe I will start composing some music with this Big Sky. Maybe I'll upload it to the channel. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna jam out to that rhythm I just did. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.